Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Travel with Terri podcast, featuring Terri Guthrie, a Dallas, Texas-based travel journalist who loves to talk about luxury family vacations, regional food and culture, national parks, historic attractions, and so much more. So welcome, everyone. Terri and Ron Guthrie are back out on location, and they are in Louisiana. And today they've got a special guest. I love this when they record their episodes out on location. Today they have Maitland Spuddy, John Faucheux, and he's known as Spuddy, and he owns Spuddy's Cajun Cooking Experience, which is just outside New Orleans. And I'm not going to even try to pronounce the town, but I do want to tell you all to go to his website. So if you go to New Orleans, 50 miles outside of New Orleans is just not that far. And this is going to be one of those true immersive experiences, because I know Terri loves cooking schools. And when she has a really cool experience, she wants them on the podcast. So the website is CajunCookingExperience.com. So Terri, are you eating good in Louisiana?
Oh, honey. Yes, ma'am, I am. Are you kidding? I am telling you, the world revolves around food here. and not just any kind of food, the best kind of food, and the freshest, and food with history. I am just so intrigued with the whole cuisine and culture, and just all of this, how it's very interrelated. It's like the cuisine is part of the culture makes the cuisine. I mean, it just kind of goes back and forth. They're so interrelated, and so much of a part of the people's day-to-day life, not just hundreds of years ago, but still is very, very relevant today.
And it has to do also what's growing there. I mean, Louisiana grows sugarcane, and rice, two things that people may not know about. And, I know some people have been eating alligator while they're out there. There's all kinds of things that are a little bit different. There's things like boudin, of course, beignets. You've got the French influence, Cajun cooking. I love it because it feels like Louisiana, all the cultures get together and share, and you get the best flavors. I'm saying the more cultures we have in one spot, the better the food.
Yes, and don't forget all the great seafood here. The oysters and the shrimp, and as you said, the alligator, turtles. I mean, you just never know what's in some of these dishes.
Well, yeah, that's right. So welcome, Spuddy. How are you?
I am doing fantastic there this morning. It's just a beautiful morning out here in Lafayette, Louisiana.
You're in Lafayette today. Now, your Cajun cooking school is outside of Louisiana. Is it Vacherie? I can't pronounce anything in Louisiana.
The name of the town is Vacherie, and Vacherie was the Vacherie, the cow pasture.
Oh, okay. So the cow pasture. But so is beef one of the main ingredients for cooking in Louisiana, or is that just a regional place that had cows?
No, and back in the day, they would always put your cattle in the back of town, the Vacherie, because that's where the smell was. that's where the cattle were raised. And then you would, when you're ready to sell your cattle, or you want to sell in New Orleans, you do a little drive to the river, load them on the steamships, and then bring them to the French market.
Okay. So now you were raised actually doing picking, right? Picking fruits, vegetables, tomatoes. I was reading on your website, again, everyone, CajunCookingExperience.com. But what led you into the world of food?
Well, all my life I've been around people cooking, grandparents, my mom, go to people's houses, and it was just, they were great cooks. They weren't chefs. Chefs have the art of putting food together in a beautiful way, but they were great cooks, and I wanted to be them. And I went on the road selling paper and janitorial supplies, and I called in a lot of people that own their own business, their own restaurant. And I'd go in there and I'd fall in love with what they were doing, the smells, the work, the thrill of owning your own restaurant. And eventually, opportunity came across to buy Old Meat Market, and I did, and turned it into Spuddy's Cajun Foods.
All right. So you had a seafood and a meat market, and then that expanded into a Cajun cooking experience. Because I think this is so great. You start to understand what you're eating at the restaurants when you visit Louisiana, right? It's it's something that you're not going to get anywhere else. Well, not authentically. And that's the person that's cooking is from Louisiana. So this is a different thing for visitors coming through.
Yes. I have to tell you, Lisa, I mean, as a tourist or when you're visiting a place like this and considering it's so unique, everybody is very intrigued with the food and is like, what is this food and how do they make it? Where does it come from? And that's exactly what Spuddy does with his Cajun cooking experience. I just think this is brilliant that he does this. Honestly, I do, because it really appeals to me, and I know it does to all my friends. And I can't wait to come back. But you're really stepping to an actual Cajun restaurant kitchen to make like andouille and gumbo and jambalaya, all with your own hands. So Chef Spuddys, he has stories and recipes galore, and he leads you through all this with like a hands-on cooking class that's about a 3-hour experience, and just making all these fantastic dishes that we can get into detail about in just a minute. But basically, when you finish, and believe me, you are hungry when you finish because it all smells so good, then you all sit down together at a big table and enjoy all the fruits of our labor. We had the best time, and Ron and I think that we have never had more delicious food in our lives. I mean, it's because of the seasonings that he uses. It's fresh, and just his recipe. Spuddy knows what he's doing. There's just no doubt about it. This is about as most authentic Louisiana authentic experience that you're going to get. It's just, I love it. I love it. And where his restaurant is and the history that he tells you about the food. I mean, he really educates you. It's not just like, do this, do that. No, he educates you, and he tells you why this works and why he's doing that, and why you need to cook this at this point, and, really leads you through it. So I tell you what, when Ron and I get home, we're going to work on our Cajun cooking, because Spuddy has given us a little confidence, and now we've got some good recipes, and I think I know a little bit about what I'm doing. I might have to call him a couple times, but he's a great teacher, and very entertaining fella, I might say.
I think all teachers have to be fun. And I was going to ask you, Terri, because, we talked about German food and German cooking about a month ago, right? Talking about the Central Market in Texas. And, Texas is very connected to Louisiana. When you look at the history and the cultures that make up the Cajun culture, what I didn't realize was there's an area called the German coast, and that's connected. So I was wondering about any of the food that you were making. Did any of it kind of lend towards some of the German style of foods that Texas is known for, or not for you when you're cooking?
I will have to let Spuddy talk more about this, but one thing I did learn that I was shocked about is about the andouille sausage, and it's actually German.
See, I did not know that. And it is sausage month, everyone. October is sausage month. October 1st every year is a big day. It is sausage day. We love sausage on Big Blend Radio. It is.
How
everybody
perfect.
needs it. It is. So we're celebrating sausage day. The fact that you got to learn how to make andouille sausage, to me, is I'm really jealous. I love a good andouille sausage, and it's always got that little kick in it. And there's the special ingredients, but I did not know that has a German touch to it at all. So
yes. Let Spuddy tell you about it. He's got a great story about andouille sausage, because I was even telling some people here last night about it that we were having dinner with, and they had no idea of its German descent either. So it's really a fascinating story.
Lisa, go back in time. We were settled by the French. But eventually, the German coast, you talked about the German coast. That German coast is started in St. Charles Parish. And Germans were known as being the sausage makers. The French people made a different andouille, but the German, there was another name in Germany for this, and I don't know what it is. I can't pronounce it. But the French changed when Germans came in, they said, oh, we're going to change it the way we want to pronounce it. So sausage was called andouille. The German way of making it was totally different than the French. The French used the innards, andouillette. But we make the andouille the original on the German coast, St. Charles, St. John, and St. James Parish, you will find only places you will find the original, authentic German andouille, the German way of making it.
And what's in andouille with the German style?
Good
What are
question.
some of what are the main ingredients?
Okay, when I make mine, it's chopped pork. It's not ground. You ground meat, they put in sausage. It's regular, if you want to make fresh sausage, smoked sausage. But for andouille, you're going to chop the meat and make it in like little balls. And when you mix that meat, you mix it. I mix mine with only salt and pepper. Everybody wants to know what's the special seasoning. Salt and pepper and a little bit cure in it so that it doesn't spoil when you vacuum pack it. And that mixture of salt and pepper, and when you mix it, it'll heat up a little bit and it'll get sticky and it'll help it bond together. So when you pack it in a case and it bonds together. And when you smoke it, it tastes like a ham. And that's the purpose of having an andouille. That was the way of Cajuns having something that tasted like ham.
Wow. So Boudin, because you're in Lafayette right now, and that's part of Boudin country, and that's more because of the rice that came out of that area, right? So we got two different sausages going on here.
Well, the Boudin
you could have Boudin balls too.
So the Boudin is a whole different experience. The original Boudin. You took basically what you couldn't use. With the pork liver was one of the things that you use in Boudin. There was the German style Boudin, no rice. Then you had the Cajun style. They added rice in it. And you would have just pieces of anything that you couldn't use in a hog, cook it together with maybe some green onions and whatever you had available, some onions, bell peppers, whatever you had available, and you'd cook that down and then pack it into a casing. Then you would eat it. If you made it raw, you would have to boil it in water first. So you would cook it boiled in the casing and boil in water, and then you would have your true Boudin. So the true Boudin, the German style, has no rice, has a strong pork liver taste. You won't see that a lot because people don't like the taste of pork liver.
But there's liver pate that, Germans love their pate, and even though that sounds French to me, liver, I don't know. Is pate French? I don't know anymore. Yeah. Okay. So this is a big blend of food going on. I wanted to ask Terri about some more of her favorite foods that she got to make at the Cajun Cooking Experience. Again, everyone, CajunCookingExperience.com. It's linked in the episode notes. So, Terri, what else did you make?
Well, so we had 5 different stations there, and we were kind of overseeing each of our own station, but then we would go around to each other's and stir and smell and do some little sampling. But what I did was a smothered okra, which I am a huge okra fan. I was glad to see that. By the way, Spuddy has everything set up when you walk into his commercial kitchen. I was like, whoa, now this is the way I like to cook. Everything is set out. It is chopped and diced and in bowls and the perfect measurements and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's nice. So you're not having to do any of that. He took the hard work out for us, and we just got to do the fun stuff. But he has it all, set up, and most of the pots are like these big cast iron pots that I love. And that's the Cajun way. That's the Southern way. Just everybody loves their cast iron.
I think Southerners on any part of the South, I don't care where it is, know how to cook for one person. It's impossible. Cooking is always for like the neighborhood, the family in the neighborhood.
Well, they do because they just want to have extra because they love to share. They love to share their food, and that's just part of the culture here in Cajun country, but also I think across the deep South. We that's part of our Southern hospitality. Yeah, so I got to cook the smothered okra, and it had ground beef and ground pork in it, and then a little shrimp and tasso, and of course onions, and so that's all a process of making that. And oh my goodness, it was delicious. There was also shrimp Creole. And then, Spuddy, you'll have to help me on this. The petit, what do you mean?
The petit pois.
Petit pois.
Which is roux peas.
This was a new one for me, a roux peas, and it also has like smoked sausage and tasso in it. But, It was beautiful.
What
Because
is
pink is so
tasso?
bright green.
We don't hear about tasso very often. So can you tell everyone what tasso is?
So tasso, really, when you have that, it's basically pork jerky instead of beef jerky.
Okay.
You take
That's right.
slabs of pork and you smoke it, highly seasoned, put a lot of salt, a lot of pepper on it. So it's going to be very piquant. And you cut it up, and you can cut it up as small as you want, and it gives an intense flavor, an intense smoke into your dish, whatever you're cooking. But you also can eat it like it is because it's like a jerky. And I use the tasso. That will replace, maybe I don't want to put andouille in it because the chunks are too big. And where I want small pieces of meat, smoked meat, I'll use the tasso in it. And it's the same flavor as the andouille, just a little more intense because it's so small that it takes, and it's not in the casing, it takes the smoke. It takes in more smoke.
It's good. I have to tell you, I kept on nibbling on it because he had a big chopped bowl of it right there. But that was a really good dish. And then, of course, we had the jambalaya, which is with pork and andouille and sausage. That was one of the dishes, and I guess rice. Was it rice? And then and this was Ron's dish that he made. He's so proud of it, and I'm so proud of him for learning how to make it because I will ask him to make this when we get back to Texas. And of course, that has andouille, sausage, and chicken. And what else did it have in it?
So gumbo. So what I did, I also, first time, y'all were the first ones to get this. I made some chicken tasso, which is a heavily smoked chicken thigh meat, and I seasoned it real hard. And y'all tasted it. Yeah, out the bowl. It was awesome. So I instead of putting raw chicken in the gumbo, I added that right at the end. It gave a totally different flavor. That's the first time I had done this. And one of the things about when you do the Cajun cooking experience, and you'll watch me when I do my live show also, I'll experiment. I'll go, okay, guys, this is the first time I've ever done this. Let's see how it's going to come out, because that's what Cajun cooking is about. Cook with what you have, and let's see how it turns out. But
Spuddy, I was going to ask because, you're doing all this. I think we get confused between gumbo and jambalaya because they both come out of big pots and have similar kind of ingredients. What is the difference in that? Because, it seems like you're talking about, try this, try that, and see what happens kind of thing. And I feel like both those dishes allow you to do exactly what you're saying of, let's try it this time. Let's put some chicken tasso in there and see how it goes.
Okay. So gumbo is more like a soup. Go back in old newspapers, they'll say, oh, I had some gumbo soup. Let me give a little history on gumbo. King Gumbo. King Gumbo was the African word for okra. So it was Gombo. That was your okra. If you go back and look at old newspapers, you'll see gumbo seeds. I bought a dozen gumbos. That was your okra. So that turned in from smothered okra, the gumbo, to eventually you made it into a soup, then you added protein. So the gumbo is more like a soup, thin. It could be thin, it could be a little thick. I always make it a little on the thick side, but a jambalaya, and the gumbo has a roux. The jambalaya has no roux. It's just, you smother all this meats, you smother your meats and seasonings down till you build your gravy, you build your nice brown gravy, and then you add water, add the rice, and then it's a science, the formula between water and rice, so that when you finish, the rice pops to perfection. And when you let that rice set in that water, that flavored water, those flavors you've layered, that built while cooking this, the flavor is just so intense. And the only thing we season it with, all these dishes, salt and pepper. That's it. As far as seasoning. Add a little garlic if you want, if you like that. But salt, pepper, and that's that is the magic.
That's interesting to know, because I think everyone thinks you got a whole, but then you use red pepper, don't you, in cooking, not just black pepper, right?
That is a good question. So I love black pepper. As people get older, or people with gastro issues, the black pepper doesn't digest. So it will eat you up if you have any kind of gastro problems. So I'll use the cayenne pepper and I'll add a little black pepper in because I like the flavor of it. But I use cayenne just so if you're cooking for a mass of people, you're always going to have people that can't handle the black pepper.
Okay, that's interesting to know. Huh. Okay, so I want to know about Terri I want to see how she did with this on the spicing part, because this is something that I think people wouldn't know. Like they're going to think there's a gazillion spices, inside, because it's even I buy Zatarain's rice, okay? I know just because the seasonings, and I always go back and look at it and I'm like, there's not that much seasoning in there, but you think it is. Were you surprised by that, Terry, too, about the,
Right.
like,
They
it's
don't really.
full of seasoning, but it's a lack of seasoning in a weird way. Like less is more, huh?
Right. Yes. And I think, it's widely thought of that a lot of the food down here is so spicy, but not necessarily so at all. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think our food with Spuddy was just perfectly seasoned. I love it. I don't like things super spicy. And
Mm-hmm.
and I think he keeps it like really simple, really natural. One thing that I learned that a lot of people here like to have their like own little seasoning mixes and all that kind of stuff, but it's really not complicated. It's very, very basic, and that personally appeals to me. I love Spuddy's way of cooking.
Well,
Mm.
I always go by the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, that's it. I agree.
That's my way of cooking, because if you use all these magic seasonings, then people get confused. Oh, I've got to go shopping for certain. And if I was in the marketing business, I would have 10 different seasonings if I was marketing them, but I'm not. I'm teaching you how to cook just a simple way and layering these flavors. And it's important how you layer these flavors. And if you do it, everything comes together and you have flavor that you can't buy in a store. And another thing is, everything is farm to table, and I do not use cans. Everything is quick frozen. So I'll buy from a supplier. Let's say the peas. It's not canned peas. They're picked out the field, washed, parboiled, and quick frozen, so that when you get them, they have this dark, bright green to them. The flavor is different than that one that comes out of the can.
Yeah, especially
That
when it
makes a
comes to
difference too.
green beans out of a can, that needs to stop. That needs
Yeah,
to
I agree.
And carrots, green beans and carrots in a can. No, no, no. Because they're just, true carrots and true green beans that are and they normally pick them right at that perfect time, and you can get to taste that. So now what about the seafood? Because now the okra thing, now that's a whole okra, that's a whole technique to get it right, I think. But did you do any seafood, Terry, that you enjoyed?
Oh, yes, yes. In my dish, we had shrimp, which I was excited. That was the seafood I had in mind, because that's my favorite seafood is shrimp. And so, yeah, and that makes just all the difference in the world. I love that. So he had some great fresh shrimp for us. But I was going to tell you another thing about gumbo that I think is so interesting, and not just gumbo, but just the Cajun cooking in general, is that this is such a generational thing that is passed down, as Spuddy talked about, just watching his, parents and grandparents and, family, friends and stuff. These recipes are just passed down from generation to generation, and it's such a big deal here. I mean, everybody has, their favorite recipe, and theirs is the best. But hey, I'm here. I'm telling you, Spuddys is the best. It's the truth. But they have, and I want him to tell you about this gumbo festival that they have in Vacherie, right there on the levee of the Mississippi River, in that area. But it sounds fantastic. He was telling us about it yesterday, and I think I might have to come back for this. But let me let you Spuddy tell you about this festival. It's something else.
So it actually takes place across the river from Vacherie in a town called Lutcher. And so St. James Parish on the East Bank, towns of Lutcher, Gramercy, you get into Paulina, Grand
Mm-hmm.
Point. What they'll do is they have a festival of the bonfires. It's usually the second weekend
Ooh.
in December. And it's online. You can go find this. So we have a gumbo cook-off competition on Friday night, the first night, and you may have like 100 cooks. So you get and when you pay, you get to taste all these gumbos. You can't taste all these gumbos, but trust me. But you get to taste the difference in how people cook gumbo, what they put in it. Because gumbo, flour, oil, and water. After that, it's good stuff in, good stuff out, trash in, trash out. It's what you put in it's going to give you the flavor. And so you get to taste gumbo from the community of so many different people cooking, and so many generations of gumbo have been passed down in one little spot. So that is the setup. The gumbo, the bonfire festival goes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Good swamp pop music, just a good
Ooh.
time, good food besides the gumbo. but that sets up for December 24th. So on December 24th, imagine this. 150 to 200 bonfires lined up on the levee of the Mississippi River, and at 7 o'clock on Christmas Eve, 7 p.m., they all lit at the same time. And fireworks go off like mad. And
Man, sounds like a party.
oh, God, is it a party? And everybody along the river that has a house along the river, they're cooking. So if you stop by, they're going to offer you a bowl of gumbo. They're going to offer you whatever they're eating, so you can go in and drop in and get your little bite to eat. And it's very welcoming. So it's a huge party, all-night party. And it's people come from all over the world to see this.
This is fun. This is fun. And then right after that, you got Christmas, then you got Mardi Gras. I mean, come on. No wonder you have to all stop after at Lent. Yeah, because you're having too much fun. I love it. Louisiana knows how to party like no other state, I believe. It
No
really
kidding.
is. It is
Really,
the party
Lisa?
central.
There is something going on here in southern Louisiana all the time. And our tour of Jefferson Parish, the river parishes, and Ascension Parish was so much fun. And this week we're starting out in Lafayette, as we mentioned, and then heading on down to the Cajun coast, which is like Morgan City area and Houma. But I tell you, these people love their festivals, and they love to have fun, and they love to eat well. And like I said, it's a very communal thing. It's something where everyone is welcome, and they just know how to have a good time like none other. I mean, I think that this has to be the most unique and culturally rich area in the entire United States.
I'm going to agree with you. I mean, I love Louisiana as the whole state because people come together over food, and it's all ages. That's the one thing. I think that is family and friends get together. People that don't know each other will hang out together, and it's very European in that way. When you think about how the French, you have those big communal tables when you eat, in France, and different countries do this. So to me, living in South Africa, when somebody had a party, the whole family came, all ages, and everybody knew each other. It was like a community party. I don't know. And so Louisiana feels very like it. I feel at home in that state more than anywhere because it's just fun, and they got the wildlife, and I don't know. It's just fun and friendly. Now, before you all go, I want to know, is there anything for some of us? It is, we're actually recording this on National Dessert Day, so I want to know what's in it for the sweet tooth people who go to Louisiana. What's for the sweet tooths? I want to know about dessert.
Oh, so come around the holidays, and you'll get traditional sweets made that have passed on for generation to generation. Of course, we have our bread pudding. We have our coconut macaroon. We have, of course, the pecan pies. I can't even think of everything. Tea cookies around Christmas time.
Yeah.
You would get if you had little kids or grandkids, you would get them together, and everybody in the kitchen is making tea cookies, and you put the icing on, and you make them different designs for the kids and all. That's a big deal. What else we have?
What about pralines? Yeah, I was going to say pralines.
The pralines. Oh yeah, that's big. That's heavy in New Orleans, but as you come up the river, a lot of people still make pralines around the holidays. Fudge, different kinds of fudge. Anything has some stuff that's made with preserves. You could use fig preserves or anything they grew in the garden and they preserved it. They would make cakes or cookies with it. And so it could be every family had their unique dish that they would make. So desserts are not short over here. And the thing about it, Christmas time, everybody's making them fresh.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to come back here at Christmas.
No, this is good stuff. Well, everyone go to CajunCookingExperience.com and stay tuned for next week. There's going to be more about Louisiana. I'm telling you, with Terri and Ron spending so much time out there. And I know that their schedule is packed. And that's a good thing because we get to hear about all these delicious and adventurous adventures that they're having. So thanks so much, Terri, Ron, and Spuddy.
Thank you, Lisa.
Lisa, thank you so much. And look, this whole thing, one thing I wanted to mention, I do live cooking shows every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And I do cook authentic Cajun dishes.
Awesome.
I'm doing it live in front of the whole world, Facebook Live or YouTube Live on Spuddy's Cajun Foods, either one of those pages. And if you want to learn how to cook Cajun from a far distance, tune in. And best part about it, I watch the feed, so I answer all the questions.
Awesome. Awesome.
Isn't that
We'll make
great?
sure to
So
link that.
if you can't make it here, just watch Spuddy and you will get the true Cajun cooking experience.
Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Travel with Terri podcast. You can follow Terri's adventures at travelwithterri.net. And that's Terri with an I, not a Y. Follow us here at bigblendradio.com. Happy travels!